I thought when you first started talking, there was this one where you had a heavy machine gun. I want to say the RPK, and Pepe Tortilla and I had both already gone down, and you were left by yourself.
I had the PKM.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that PKM slaps. Watch out.
It was like watching a movie. I mean, it was like Pepe and Tortilla and I both were watching. And
Get down.
And I will say, listeners, like Ovox gets serious as shit. He's like if you're like talking, he's like comms. He's it's like trying to breathe over here. You may not have an answer for this because but I find like when you're wearing a sweatshirt and a hat and you're getting ready to like say jerk or possibly take a shit or something, like do you take that sweatshirt and hat off? Like
no, you just swap the hat backwards. That's all. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Over the top, like the arm wrestling movie, like with Sylvester Stallone. Remember he turns the hat around when he means business. I feel like you got to take it off. Like you don't get naked. Like that also seems weird, but like if it would
well
be
in the wintertime, of course, that'd be real. That'd be challenging. Yeah, depending on especially where you are, man. It's freezing up there. How did this come up?
It just kind of came up like organically the other day. I was like, I just pictured like if as awkward as it would be to catch someone jerking, like it'd be even crazier. I would think that dude is a psychopath. If I saw someone with like a jacket or a sweatshirt on that was and like a winter hat,
but like where, like at a rest stop or something?
No, like maybe at your computer or something,
or like at a Chick-fil-A or something, or
yeah, you might have to wear it like outdoors, but like indoors, at your home computer, I think you got to take that shit off.
I see.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just leave this in the podcast.
Chuck T problems. Like these are Chuck Point problems. Like, yeah. I don't know.
I just think it's funny because you're I'm looking at you and you have a sweatshirt and a hat on. I'm wondering if you actually have pants on now that I think about it.
Which that's totally normal.
It kind of cuts off their half chest,
I'll be honest with you, I would feel more normal not having pants on, jerking than I would with a sweatshirt and hat.
You can be as honest with me as you want. Just don't stand up, all right? I don't want to find out the hard way.
I feel like the same rules apply when you're taking a dump. Like you gotta come out of that sweatshirt and jacket, or hat. Like, I don't know. I could probably do the hat more there, but yeah, pants off are kind of you gotta have your pants off in both these situations. So yeah.
This is a wonderful way to start the Christmas special.
Well, it's cold outside, baby. It's cold outside.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah. So next time you're making love to yourself by hand, just think about it.
Let's crack this thing off. Welcome gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs. This is the New Wave Gaming Podcast. I'm Ovox.
And I'm ChukTomahawk.
And we are very excited to be back with you here for our Christmas episode. I'm not going to call it a Christmas special because I don't know how special it really is, to be honest. We gave it about zero planning, but we do have a bunch of fun topics coming at you. Or at least fun... topics of discussion that I think we can get a bit nostalgic with and have some fun with, and et cetera, et cetera. It's been, I think, around maybe almost 4 weeks that we've been MIA. I had some family in town that took a bit of time out. Chuck, I think you've been busy too.
It's
with
been crazy.
Yeah, you're between states and stuff.
Yeah, I'm moving from North Carolina back to the motherland here in Tennessee. So
that's good. Right. And I think you brought it up in our last episode about you got like a gaming room going on.
Yeah, man.
Got your own little setup.
I do.
That's right.
I'm getting that more and more set up. I've got the PS4 and 5 up now. So,
dang, dude, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. So yeah, we've been gone for a little bit, but we're back here for our Christmas episode, and it might be our last episode of the year. We're not 100% sure because, as you know, listeners, we like to deliver an episode every 2 weeks, and 2 weeks from now is December 31st. Like, you know what that means? It's New Year's Eve.
It's a wrap.
That's a wrap
for 2022.
And hey, that might be a good way to look at this episode as the wrap up, or the what do they call it? The roundup, 2022 roundup, wrapped up. If you're a Spotify dude or dudette,
that's right.
You know,
yeah,
they send you your Spotify wrapped up.
Oh man.
Hey, yeah. On that note, listeners, thank you so much from ChukTomahawk and myself for all of your love and for listening and for sharing our podcast. We got some really good feedback in the wrapped up, especially in terms of like shares and stuff globally. That was like mind blowing. So, damn, thank you.
Yeah. What are we like? We're like in the top 10%. I saw like possibly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
But I mean, it stoked me out. I was like, damn, that's really good because, or at least it, I think it is. It seems really great, and it took listeners to make those algorithms move and for those percentages to become a reality. So sincerely from New Wave Gaming, from ChukTomahawk and myself, you can't see me, but my arms are stretched out, giving you a digital hug, imaginary hug from me. Chuck, are you going to give him a hug or not, man?
I got my tongue out. I'm going
oh, damn. You've been hitting an awkward note this episode. I think ChukTomahawk needs some loving over there or something, man. You think,
yeah. Can't French kiss this dog over here.
That must be a really warm sweatshirt.
That's right. It was good.
Yeah, so thanks for coming back for another episode. And if you're new to the podcast, we love talking about gaming, of course, and we love talking about gaming of old and gaming of new and how they have evolved over the years, and all of the nostalgic experiences and the new experiences and all of that fun stuff. Really, it's about the evolution of gaming, and it's coming from us too, and we've been gaming for quite some time, so we try to inject our experiences into the chat and have fun with it. It's also kind of a comedic podcast. So anyways, we'll get on to it. But thank you for checking us out and for joining us if you're new to the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. I second that.
Yeah, man. So, Chuck, very serious question here. What is on your Santa Claus letter? What are you requesting from Santa this year in terms of gaming? And have you been a good boy? Let's just start there. I don't know after the beginning of this podcast.
I know. I got to be like right on the edge of the naughty list, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the requisites are exactly for that, but yeah, it's got to be pretty darn close.
Are you on the line there, rubbing shoulders with getting coal and stones for Christmas?
Possibly a lump of coal could be in my future, and I
don't think you can get lumps of coal in the PlayStation Store or on Steam.
No.
Maybe you can. I think you can in Rust. I think that's one of the mods, the Christmas mod.
And then how does Santa know that I moved is a question. I feel like I need to get another letter in there.
Oh, dude, he knows that shit.
He's got an updated GPS or something.
Man, he's connected with have you notified anyone yet that you're in a different place? Have you notified I don't know, utilities, postal service, I don't know,
Oh yeah.
Oh, then he knows. He's connected, dude.
He gets with the electric company.
Dude, he's connected to all of that shit, the FBI, the CIA,
NORAD.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Naval Special Forces, SEAL, all that. He's connected with all those fools, man.
Well, and sometimes I feel like I'm asking for too much, but then I think like he's got those elves, like they're making that stuff. I mean, is that really like the core components of that? Like, does Santa have to, pay for that? Like
you mean his elf sweatshops?
Yeah, they seem pretty happy in there. Like,
yeah, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Oh man, in all seriousness, I've got my eye on a TV that I want to do gaming on. Like I think if you do a Google search right now, like best gaming TV, you'll come up with something called the LG CT.
All right, hold on, listeners.
Yeah.
You heard it. Let's pull this up. I'm with you. I'm right here. What is it called, Chuck?
It's called the LG CT TV. I'm wanting the 42-incher, and on Black Friday, this thing was down to I think like $899, and probably it's sitting somewhere around $1,000 right now. So, yeah.
Wait, it's an LG though.
Yep.
Interesting.
I've had Samsung for a really long time, but that one's getting some really good reviews as far as gaming TVs go. So yeah, that's right at the top of my list.
I haven't. I'm not. The particular one you're talking about isn't popping up for me. There's an LG class nano cell. Is that what you're talking about? The nano cell?
It's actually like the letter C and then the number 2. Let me do a look here real quick.
LG CT
Or C2.
C2 TV. Oh, here we go. Found it. All right.
OLED.
All right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah, dude, that I think it.
Right, now you're talking about for your consoles.
Mm-hmm. And
okay.
I don't know that every game like supports it, but you can get 120 hertz refresh rate on the PS5, and that TV will let you do that. Is kind of one of the main reasons.
Wait, do you mean hold on? I think what you mean is the TV gets that refresh rate, and the PlayStation 5 gets 120 frames. Is that what you mean? Because it
can do more than that, I think, even.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Let's see here. I'm trying to. Oh, it's okay. Anyways, that's awesome. I'm trying to find the specs here. I want to see what we're working with. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, the native here we go, baby. It's got a Gen 5 AI processor, 4K, AI Picture Pro. The refresh rate is 120 hertz native on the TV. So that means that the TV is capable of actually showing you 120 frames per second. So like if your system, if it's a PlayStation or whatever it may be, and I'll give you an example like with my laptop here in a second. If your PlayStation can do 120 frames per second, but your TV is only like 60 hertz refresh rate or 90 or 100, then it's not going to be capable of showing you the full potential in terms of frame rate of the PlayStation. So an example would be as well like here on my laptop that I'm using right now, the refresh rate is 144 hertz of the screen. So if my little tiny laptop, if it was actually capable of giving me 144 frames per second, which it's not, it would be able to show me that. The screen would actually be able to show me that. But let's say my little laptop was capable of like with the GPU and the CPU and all that stuff. It had a nice brand new NVIDIA card, latest model, and it was capable of giving me, let's say, 220 frames per second. Well, I wouldn't actually be able to see those frames, that clarity, that smoothness, because the screen isn't 220 hertz. It's only 144. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So in that regard, for a TV, like just a regular TV and not a monitor for like PC gaming, that seems really good. 120 hertz native, that seems dope.
It should be a pretty decent like addition, I would think,
But that's-
an improvement.
Oh yeah, but that's good information for you to have though, like because when you understand the dynamics between frame rate and hertz and refresh rate on the monitor, it's very important to understand that so that you're getting those frames that you think that you have. Well, that you do have, but you want to be able to see it. You want it to be able to manifest via the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what good is it to have a system that can punch out like 220 frames per second when the monitor can only give you 90 or 100 or whatever? So,
yeah. I'm not 100% sure like Santa's going to come through with this. I've got a couple other things in mind, but I and it's kind of crazy because I do have like a bunch of TVs, like they're just older ones, So, but yeah, if I think if money was no object, that'd probably be the top of my list. And I think something our listeners should think about, and what I would think about as far as a second gift, I wonder if like the price of Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies being down has caused the people that were using graphics cards as GPUs as miners. Like, I think it's become unprofitable to mine crypto at this point. So you would think those are going to be flooding the market back onto the market somehow.
You mean the GPUs?
Yeah. I saw that. I saw this video the other day. This guy had like 20, 30, 80 TIs, and he was like, he had paid top dollar for them, and he was like, they were like half of what he was thinking he could get, like half of what he had paid at this point. Okay,
so there might be some value in keeping an eye out for resold GPUs.
Yeah.
Graphics cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say most folks are just hanging on to them because those numbers are just so jacked. Like, it's just not, it's almost better to hold and hope that crypto goes back up, I guess. But, some folks are liquidating those. And I don't know that I ever understood how you used a GPU to mine crypto exactly. Like I know we talked a little bit about in our episode, like, they're kind of helping keep that blockchain going, and doing that math. But how does the graphics processor do that? I don't quite get. But I did see it kind of with my own eyes. It is the same thing.
Well, what you're saying is that even though we may not understand the inner workings of the GPU to mine crypto, the fact is that it is a thing. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that there might be some folks that are on the sale of their GPUs because they're not going to need them anymore.
Yeah, because
I mean, that's kind of what you're saying, right? Yeah.
Right. And when I was looking at building my current computer, they were super high for a while. Like, there was the shortage of them, and they were almost 3 times what they normally cost, and they kind of came back down to earth, a little bit, but we're still up some. And so I've got like an older computer back here now that I'd like to get upgraded in. I think it's got like a 1080 or something in it, and it sort of struggles to keep up with stuff. So yeah.
Dude, my little laptop, dude, it's got like a 1650 or something like that. It's hey, I can play Warzone on it.
It does really good. Yeah. So yeah, if you're going to double down on me, I want the TV and a used GPU. If you could swing it, if you drop it off the computer.
Want one of them new NVIDIA ones?
I don't know a ton about the brands. I think of like NVIDIA, like mine says Gigabyte on it, and you see RTX. I even see that Gigabyte is making monitors now, so I'm a little confused at exactly who. If those companies are all one thing, or
like who's who in the zoo.
Yeah.
It's one of my
the Animal Crossing.
That's what one of my old bosses used to tell me. We need to find out who's who in the zoo.
He ain't wrong.
He's bilingual too. He'd be he'd be just busted out in Spanish, and then he'd go into English and be like, "You understand, licenciado? We need to find out who's who in the zoo." I'm like, oh damn.
Zoo seems like one of those words that would be the same in both languages, probably, right? Or is it something?
No,
excuse me.
It's different. Oh, it's all good, man.
Yeah.
We're all sniffly. It's that time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, folks might hear my dog running around back here too. I think he's looking for Santa Claus too.
He's like, what about my gift? Tell him.
But
I want the new ball. I want the new ball.
Yeah, no kidding. That Furbo.
Okay.
What
so
about you though?
hold on. You got
Okay.
TV.
All right.
You got TV. We got a TV here. We got a GPU. Give us a lucky 3. You know, the third's the charm. Like, and if you could, Santa, throw this on top, please. Give him your cherry.
And like still in the gaming world.
Of course, man. Of course.
If I was going non-gaming, I'd want a bottle of that bourbon, the Pappy Van Winkle. It's like about $1,000 or something like now. But I saw a controller the other day. It was almost like Lexus and a video game controller. A company had gotten together and they made this just badass PlayStation controller that had some chrome inlays and like the little L kind of lit up on it.
Was it a PS5 controller?
I swear I only saw it like kind of for a short minute and didn't really get to do it. Like I wasn't in a place where I could follow up. So, but yeah, I would think like a nice aftermarket like controller would be way up there too.
Okay.
Something in there.
Damn. All right. Fair enough. Those are awesome, man. Especially that TV, dude. Go for it. I mean, if Santa can bring that to you, man, you know, write him an email.
Well,
persistence, brother. Write him an email. Send him a letter. Shoot him can you send him like a DM?
Well, what if I do this? Like I send him and we tell him to bring the other 2 things and tell him like word on the street is these TVs are going to go down right after Christmas. So, like whenever you're just coming into the off season, like, just, you could go ahead and drop the money off.
What?
Maybe
just be like, look, when you hit your last house, just come back.
Swing back.
Swing back.
I'll have cookies out.
East Tennessee. East Tennessee, Baja Peninsula, let's go.
Yeah, get a little downtime. We get like a few games of Warzone 2 in with the boys. And, like tell Mrs. Claus to, put it on pause.
We'll have cookies ready, couple of tamales.
Yeah. Oh
you know
my
what I'm saying?
God. Yes. Yes. 100%. Yes.
Yeah, man. Okay. Well.
So Santa Claus is called Santa Claus in Mexico? Like does he?
El Santa.
El Santa. Nice.
Sí. ¿Qué te trajo Santa? What did Santa bring for you? Yeah.
No, Chris Kringle. Christopher.
Oh, you mean is it Christopher? Saint Christopher or Saint?
I hear him called Chris Kringle sometimes, and I want to say it goes back to sort of like a German like folk tale or something, but it's pretty universal. But you kind of hear him called like Father Christmas some places, I think, and a few different little things. But
yeah, man. Santa. Sorry, I've got a couple of burps here. That was by the way, ChukTomahawk and I are enjoying a nice adult beverage while recording this. If you are as well and are of legal age to enjoy adult beverage, cheers.
Cheers
and let us all enjoy together.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Santa Claus or just Santa, everyone calls him Santa. And, Christmas trees down here, depends like the mood, I suppose. But like, the families will go between having a regular old pine tree like we do, like up in the U.S. and so on and so forth. But sometimes they will use this other, like, gosh darn it, I wish I knew the name, man. My brain kind of just automatically goes to yucca, but I don't think it is a yucca. I think it's different. It's not a yucca, but it's this thing that grows out of the ground. In fact, I think I might be able to show you, Chuck, real quick. You might be able to see it. I'm going to take you here.
Uh-huh.
And you can maybe help describe it for the listeners. It's a different style because I actually happen to have one. Let me see here. I want to see what you're seeing. And I got to bring up my Skype deal. Hold on. You see it over there?
It's a form of cactus, maybe?
It looks like a frickin' tree out of Dr. Zeus, dude.
Oh, it does. It's kind of got that Charlie Brown Christmas tree vibe going there.
You see it?
It it looks very similar to a Christmas tree, kind of though, does it? And those are leaves on it.
Man, I wish I could get the camera closer, but it's man, I don't even know how to describe it, dude. It's such a trippy plant that grow or tree. I'm not sure if it's a plant or a tree technically. Now that we're talking about it, but it just grows, dude, in the desert. Goes up real high. And you can see there that it doesn't have much in terms of like it's not like there's not a lot to it. No. That's exactly foliage. There's not a lot to it. It's a very skinny, branchy type of tree or plant, whatever this happens to be, and it's also traditionally used as a Christmas tree.
That's awesome, dude. I love it.
You can't see it from here, but I spray painted it gold.
Nice.
Yeah. So nice. I gotta get some ornaments and some lights on it. I know I'm falling behind here. I should have done that a while ago, but
I love that though.
You know,
one of the things I love seeing there in Mexico is when folks put Christmas lights on like what are they called? Saguaro cactuses, the ones with the big arms.
Is that it? Is that what that's called? That could be it, dude.
It's possible. I'm just thinking of that. You know those cactuses where the little owls live in them, and they're super old. Like it takes like 75 years to get an arm.
Oh, you mean the Cardone?
Yeah, those Christmas lights on those. I think like it reminds me of like a Corona commercial or something when I see it. You know, it's just like
totally.
What you expect to see. You know.
Yeah. Dang, I'm trying to find the name of that of what I just showed you, but. It's going to be too difficult to find that. So, anyways, we were talking about Christmas gifts, man. Is there anything else on your list besides those three?
That's it. No, I definitely want to hear what's on your list. Like, what are you going to ask Santa for this year?
I can tell you and the listeners what I would ask for him. I don't think he's gonna bring any of these things. You know what I'm saying?
You've been naughty, you think?
No, I've been naughty. I don't think so. I've been, I think honestly, dude, it's funny. Like I think the older you get, the harder it becomes to be like if you're just a regular human that like you're not, like going out there trying to like cause harm or you're not mischievous or you're just like a, normal rule following civilian, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but like I think the older you get, the less naughty you can be, man. You're just like, you're always just a good person,
Yeah.
It's just kind of I mean, obviously there's caveats to that, nuances to that.
No, I feel you. Like it's almost like that shouldn't be rewarded. It's just what you're supposed to do. It's kind of like saying, I've never been to jail. It's like, you're not supposed to go to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
Yeah.
But let's see if I'm a PlayStation 5.
Fuck yeah.
Top of the list. Like,
I need you to have one so bad to like teach me how to work my PlayStation 5. It's different, dude. It's so different. Like I was playing FIFA the other day and my buddy called, my phone rang and I was going to just get out of the game. I couldn't do it. I had to walk away. Like I had to just get like cuz I knew folks were probably still hearing me on the headset, and I just wanted to get out of the game and I couldn't do it. Like whereas used to the metric was kind of like you held down the button to kind of bring up where you would turn the power off. Now you just lightly tap it, and I'm like holding it like the old one, and I just can't get it. I kind of have it figured out now, but that particular day,
frustrating.
Usually, like I ask you or Pepe Tortilla, and like now it's like I'm on my own in this thing. But
listeners, this is how you know that we are credentialed to talk about old things gaming, evolution of gaming, new things gaming, because we've just we've been gaming for a little bit.
It's true, and I feel like Pepe Tortilla probably already knows how to work it. Like even though he's never had one, like it just amazes me how fast he absorbs those things. Like
Oh,
controllers,
yeah, man. Yeah.
He's
Yeah. And
pretty
I don't
cool.
know. There might be one on the horizon for that young man. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see when we publish this episode. It'll come out pretty soon.
God, I hope so. Like I said, just for his sake and as well as mine, it'd be nice to have some backup.
Well, you can always hit up YouTube, man. Just hit up YouTube.
I do, but
Yeah. I know what you mean, though. I'm going to get one. I don't know if Santa's going to bring me one for Christmas, but I will absolutely be getting one, soon. It's on the horizon. They've got them here, man. They're available. It's just the one with the disc, and I want to get the Digi edition, I want to get the Dig.
I don't blame you.
I'm not rushed.
Yeah. Why is that exactly? I'm not saying I don't have any idea, but...
Well, I mean, I guess my mind goes back to when, like, before it was released, they released the prices and stuff. And when I balance the fact that I don't use discs anymore, I just do it the good old cloud way, as most people are doing. I think most people, I don't know if that's actually, like, correct, but I assume most people, because I know there's still a lot of people like yourself that enjoy having the hard discs. But I really gave up the disc thing entirely, also because that I realized that just having the disc did not mean that you didn't have to download it and install it anyways.
Very true.
Like when that was the thing, I was like, okay, I'm done with the discs. No problem with me, less clutter. But when I balanced the fact that I don't use discs anymore, and then that the digital edition was being marketed as to be cheaper, it just made sense to me. I was like, yeah. So I don't know if, down here, the prices are a little bit marked up, Like I could go to Costco right now and buy one. They're there. No problem. I mean, I'm sure they go quick, but Costco restocks them quick. But it's the one with the discs. And so I'm just like, I'm just going to hold off a little bit longer. I'm not in a rush. When it starts to become like, if it starts to become like, okay, I can't game with my team. I can't game with Chuck T. I can't game with Pepe Tortilla. I can't game with Most Deadly. I can't game with Mickey the Dick. Then it's like, okay. And then it won't be an issue.
True.
Santa will come to town in February, March, April if he has to. We're close. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah, getting full circle quarterly presents.
Yeah. Hey, he's got an attorney down here. Where you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I'll put some time in with them elves if I need to. Yeah, you hit on it. That was one of the reasons I kept, other than wanting to open it at my new home, like in my new little game room area, I also wanted to be able to play with you guys, and I knew ultimately there'd be some compatibility issues. And in my old gaming room, it was so small, I couldn't really have the PS5 and 4 at the same time. But now I can, so I've got them both going here. But
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, playing with other folks is really important. Yeah, I'd like to see you get that. Like make sure you ask Santa for that. Maybe he's got one of those digi ones up there.
I'm in close contact with that dude.
I feel like you're gonna have to let him know, because who I do see wanting the disc one are folks that collect video games, like folks that collect retro games, like they'll have that wall full of N64 cartridges and things like that. Yep. They're the ones that one of my favorite creators is called CIBs, and he points that out, like he did this video where he was going to buy the new Call of Duty. I think he's in Michigan. He was going to this store called Meyer, and he was like, "Don't come at me because I'm buying the hard copy." He's just like, "I'm a collector, all right."
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's 100%. That's fair. But yeah, I'd like to get that. That's my number one. I'd also like for Santa to bring Elden Ring.
Oh yeah,
I really want to play that game, and I haven't played it yet. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
game of the year, dude.
Yeah,
like many places. I forget all the different gaming awards and which ones are like the top ones, like the Grammys of gaming or whatever. But I know, like I've saw two different ones that it won Game of the Year.
Yeah, it did. It did. Let's check real quick. I'm pulling it up. Activating a cheat code on Google. Elden Ring rewards. And real quick, listeners, I apologize for all the traffic noise.
I'm gonna take a shot of whiskey while we're.
Oh damn!
Oh, I got the Patty's old.
Yeah, he's got the
Irish
patties. Let's see here. Man, there's a lot of traffic on the freeway, man. You can hear all the vehicles.
Dude, it's like that all over town here. It was kind of rainy for a few days, and I think folks couldn't start shopping just yet for Christmas, so it's like game on today, dude.
So check this out. You were asking about like what the Grammys of gaming are and stuff like that. I think they're called the Game Awards. The Game Awards, I'm reading from a Game Rant article published December 9th. So quite recently by Daniel Amoroso. Gracias, Daniel. The Game Awards once again proved a huge success, and From Software's sprawling open-world RPG Elden Ring took home several well-deserved awards. Let's see here. An impressive 4 awards it won. Let me go back up. Hopefully I can find these quickly. It won Game of the Year. That's all it says. Where's all the other rewards?
What is it called?
Elden Ring was up against players. Okay, so it looks like it won Best Role-Playing Game, Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, and Best Art Direction.
Wow.
At least that's what it seems like. I don't know if I'm reading this article correctly, but that's what it seems like. So, yeah, that's awesome. And that's what I would like from Santa. That would be the second thing. And then as a cherry on top, this is a real big... As a real big cherry, I want to get a new gaming PC, man. I want to get a new laptop. This thing is starting to die. Oh. You know, and I want to be... I got to be able to keep up. I like to play Warzone on PC. And there's other games I like to play on PC, like Eve. But this thing's, it's slowly starting to, get slow and heat up a little bit. And the frames aren't as high as they used to be just from the wear and tear and time used, etc.
You feel pretty strongly about wanting laptop instead of desktop?
I'd probably go for a desktop if I felt like I don't know, I might be moving and stuff like that, in the upcoming future. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I want to get a new PC, whether it's desktop or laptop. I would ask Santa for a new PC setup. I know that's kind of a big ask though. Yeah. But it's something that's what I'd be going for.
Yeah, I tell you, check out some of the vendors on eBay. I got one from I think it's called Dan's Gaming Beasts, and there were some advantages to that. There's kind of a way you can do that through PayPal where you don't have to pay taxes on it, which makes a huge difference. Legally, there's just kind of a way to kind of appropriate that, and it really surprised me. I'm really glad I went that route. I was kind of looking at, maybe building one myself and struggling through that.
Well, didn't you build one yourself?
With the help of this girl that I was dating, and we split up, and I wasn't done, and I got it finished. But yeah, I didn't. I was involved in a good bit of it. So from that experience, I kind of learned it was, maybe a little over my head, but I tell you what happened. The one that I got, that 3080 Ti GPU is so heavy that they have to ship it to you separately. If they put it in the PC, the guy said, I've never found a way to get it there without it, being damaged. So I had to install the GPU anyway when it got here. So, which is, not super hard, and that kind of clued me in that I can probably do this, if I really put my mind to it. So it's on the table. I could totally see you doing it. I feel like you're a little better at that stuff than me, or a little more like going to make sure it's right, kind of thing. Because there were some struggles, in the one that girl and I built, but yeah, that's exciting. I'd like to see you get that. I think, like I've mentioned lately, I've been playing Warzone on the higher like graphic settings, and man, it is immersive as hell. Like we were just playing a minute ago, and I stopped for just a second and was like, "Damn, this looks so real." I mean, it literally looks like a freaking video of something. Like a live scene almost.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it with the graphics up like that, but I've seen on YouTube, people with their decked out PCs playing it, and it looks unreal. So that's cool. You get to experience that firsthand,
Yeah, and I think in the past I would have to look up videos about how to set your settings the best for the best performance and things like that. And they'd made that easier over the years. They kind of had that little graphic down there that showed the VRAM available and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Yeah, it is, but you're still, wondering at times, like, what am I compromising here or there? And especially when you're struggling. And, yeah, like just not to have to worry about that. I just kind of, NVIDIA kind of throws some stuff out there that's like, hey, these are our recommended settings. And it's kind of, it does that automatically. And it's nice. So, but shit, man, they're already making like 4080s, I think, like it's like
it's okay, dude. You're gonna be well within the range for a while.
Yeah. What is that we keep looking up? It's like Moore's Law, like every 24 months, like gaming ability or computing power doubles.
Yeah. That's not, I mean, gaming's just gonna keep on getting more and more amazing every year. So in this wrap up, another thing that came to my mind is I wanted to know, Chuck, what have been your, it could be top 1, top 2, top 3, but what have been your best gaming moments of 2022?
Wow.
And again, if there's only one, then there's only one. If there's 3, there's 3. But let's keep it at 3, just to keep it sweet and sexy.
I mean, this is kind of like
take your time.
An easy answer. It's easy for me. It's being involved in this podcast. Like,
Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sweet. Aww.
and I definitely don't just say that to blow sunshine up your ass. It's been like I've learned so much. Like I feel like we've kind of like established this history of gaming in a lot of ways, and yeah, it's just been super fun, and it's made me appreciate it that much more. And it I think sometimes as a grown adult, like I almost had like a little feeling of, when you talk to non-gamers, it's kind of like, like, you're still playing games? Like
you're not?
Yeah. It's
yeah,
like,
I know what you mean, man.
Yeah, a little bit of that attitude at times. And yeah, it's like, I don't know that I got that attitude from anybody, but when I met my new neighbor here at my new house, he kind of asked me, I told him I used to work for the Forest Service, and he was like, well, what do you do with yourself nowadays? And I was like, well, I got a gaming podcast. Like,
that's awesome, dude. Yeah, that's so
He actually is
awesome.
involved with the newspaper, so it was kind of like, we just had talked about that, and yeah, it's kind of like a new form of journalism of sorts. That I'm really proud of.
That's so cool, dude. Did you share it with him?
Yeah, I told him about it, and he was like, he said, this guy's probably in his 70s, and he was like, yeah, I've just missed out on that. I don't, it wasn't like no hate, he was just kind of like, it's just not my generation, and yeah, that.
Dude, that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, it feels good. I've enjoyed that, like just because it even maybe games that I might not have really paid much attention to, but previously, like now I do, just because it might come up in an episode or
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, that has to be it for this year. We probably started this like late spring, somewhere in there.
Yep. I think it was right around like March or April, probably April. I think late April.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, because I remember on May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
For some reason, dude, on that day, so many people tuned into our podcast. And if you're listening and you know that you happen to tune in that day, thank you, of course. But man, on that day, a lot of people, like, that was like a peak day for us. When you look at the analytics. Yeah, a lot of people wanted to listen to gaming podcasts on the 4th of May.
A lot of Star Wars games out there. I could see that generating a little bit of hype there, but
we don't have anything Star Warsy,
I know. And
I mean, we'll have to cover that. We're gonna have to cover Star Wars. We're gonna have to cover Star Trek. Probably Star Trek first because it's better.
Stop
Just lost a few listeners.
Stop it.
No, I'm just playing. They're both amazing, but I am a Trekkie. So, yeah. Anyways, what was that? My number one?
No, I wanted
that was
to ask you,
wait.
like
That was your number.
You asked me, and I would say that this podcast, and I think from there, if you ask me number two, we're going to end up talking about ARC for about the next 45 minutes, which I think I've given our listeners enough of that jibber jabber over the last few episodes. But
what's been your best experience in regard to that?
I think just like maybe transitioning from a new player that was sort of like a liability at times, I think, in some of our bigger missions that we were on or whatever, to kind of feeling more competent. I think it all started with the Cinemacrops, like kind of going through that process of looking for the really good ones, and just kind of getting that under me, like for that species, and then like applying that to new species that came out with the new map, and really just going through that evolution of learning that game,
Man,
deeper and
what
deeper.
A game.
Yeah, I think those I think some of the most exciting moments are failures that I had, like in PvP. But I had a moment or two like where PvP was successful.
Hold on.
So
you got the first one. The second one was what you described, that learning ARC well enough to become a team asset.
Yeah, the come up in that. Yeah.
Good. Is there another one apart from those two?
I think like when everybody's on Warzone, like when we've got the full squad together, and just kind of experiencing that. Like I don't necessarily like equate it to the new one. Like it doesn't feel like we've really tapped that one like we had the last one. We've had a few games now, and mostly in DMZ, but yeah, just that. Kind of having that, like a group of folks that we play together, and it's not like you're starting from scratch each time, with them. Mm-hmm. That's way up there. I have enjoyed those games, and it's kind of like I'm working, like even when we're not playing, like I'm leveling up guns. It's like I bought the Black Ops so I could, get my Diamatti guns back, and spent hours doing that. yeah, just so that when we played, like I would be able to not use overkill, yet still have an awesome SMG essentially in my two Diamatti pistols, and so that knowing that I'm eventually going to play with y'all again, and you're gonna see that, like, it may not register to you that I've switched from console to PC and had to re-attain those guns. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
I mean, but you might not think it like right off the bat. When you see it.
I had to go through it myself. Yeah. I don't have the growl anymore. I'm always bummed about that. I lost my growl.
Yeah.
When so I didn't mean to stop your momentum there.
But no, that's definitely there, and I can't say I have like I've come as far in that as I have in ARC, but it's better. I do. It's always kind of improvement. I love the new mechanics. Like I feel like I'm going to do better in this version of Warzone than I did in the last, just because the time to kill seems to be adjusted a little bit in my favor.
Yeah, man. I think We don't need to get into that. We don't need to get into that. That could be another episode.
Sure. Yeah, but I'm interested for you. Like what would have been some of the highlights of 2022 in your gaming world?
100%. Before we jump into that, the podcast has been great, man. And I feel the same way you do about it. I just wanted to mention that. And I'm really appreciative of all the gamers out there, gamers, non-gamers, PvEers, PvPers, and even NPCs that listen to us. Very appreciative of them. My number one was on Ark when you and I were defending the cave, man. That was insane. Yeah. Okay, so listeners, let me set the scene here. If you've played Ark and you've played it, a little bit, what map was that? Was that Crystal Isle? No, it wasn't Crystal Isle. We were on Lost Island. And if you've played Ark, then you kind of understand how it works. But I'm gonna go ahead and describe it anyways for anyone that hasn't played Ark. But anyways, it's on all the platforms, even on mobile. But basically, I'm gonna try and describe this as simply as possible. If you haven't played it, it's an open world survival game. You just have to survive, and you survive against the natural elements of the maps. There's dinosaurs that you have to survive against, and that you can use and you can tame. And then there's other players, and you can play in PvP or you can play in PvE. And we like to play in PvP to have that extra element of difficulty, anxiety, suspense, whatever you want to call it, fun.
Yeah.
So anyways, we get set up in a really dope cave on this map called Lost Island. And I think there's 3-4 of us in the tribe. Mickey the Dick, Pepe Tortilla, ChukTomahawk, and myself. And at the time, we're in this cave, but the cave is particularly, it's in a vulnerable spot, to be honest, because it's a place where new players can spawn in very quickly, and they can find you quite quickly. It's an open world game. You spawn in and you explore, so it's easy to find this cave. But what makes it unique is that when you go through the tunnel, the cave tunnel entrance, it kind of goes, imagine a tube. You walk through a tunnel, it's a tube, and then it goes underwater for a second and then pops out. So that little section, okay, so yeah, it would go underwater for a second, it would pop out, continue, and then it would open up into this huge area, and that's where we had built our base.
Was that on Lost Island, or that's actually on Fjord? Or
I'm sorry, you're right. Okay, it's same situation, but forget the water section, listeners. I'm sorry, you're right, Chuck. Thank you. Yeah. So forget the water section. It's still same scenario. It's a long tunnel, and it opens up. So again, long story short, we're in there. We've got a nice base built. At the time, I was the only person online. And in this game, it's a continuous server, so the game is always going, right, Chuck? Right? Even if you sign off, if you turn the game off, the server's still going, and all of those people that are playing on the map, whether they're friends or enemies, they're still there.
Right. Yeah.
And the whole point of the game, really, honestly, is to PvP and battle. So people are always looking for you to steal your stuff. So I'm there, and all of a sudden, I start hearing rockets explode on the outer gates, because we have gates. There's this little tunnel, and we've basically built up defenses in it. So anyways, we start getting attacked by some raiders from another tribe, maybe from another map. And at the moment, I'm the only one online. So I start equipping up, man. My adrenaline starts pumping, dude. I'm just sitting there, I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably just preparing metal, putting resources away. Who knows? Breeding. I might have been doing any number of things, building. And then I just started hearing explosions on the outer gates. So I was like, shit, here we go. And I start texting the tribe. And I remember ChukTomahawk was the only one that was available and or that was, free. And you jumped on, man. And we started defending the base. And after all that description, what I wanted to get to is the best moment I've had in gaming this year was when we were defending that. that position. And we won, dude. We won.
I learned a lot that day. I think like I was initially like I was just going to kind of get behind the wall of death that we had built and let it happen. But you were like, hey, we got to do it. We got to get out in the cave first. And, and it was real
we got to get out there and compact.
Fight back. Like, and yeah.
Dude, describe to the listeners real quick if you could, because I'm all excited and shaking over here. Describe them describe them what the defenses were like. Real quick,
we had auto turrets that were full of bullets. Like it's almost like as if you had an AK-47 that shot on its own. It's like a big old turret that's running off of a generator that we've set up, and that the whole cave tunnel that Ovox described is lined with those. And once you get into this sort of main room area, we've got what is called the wall of death, and it's just an entire wall full of those kind of turrets. We also even have some really weird plants that shoot things. Like we've grown plants.
They're like little booger balls.
Yeah, the wall's full of like, if anyone ever watched the Rocky Horror Picture Show, it kind of looks like that big plant, the Venus flytrap from it. It's just munching away.
The death wall. We had heavy turrets too. You didn't mention the heavy turrets.
Oh yeah,
but we had heavy turrets up on the large wall, or no, the large gate frames. Mm-hmm. They just sit up there on the heavy turrets. We had the tunnel lined with turrets. We had Volanosaurs. We had plant species X, I think it is the one that shoots the booger balls. Mm-hmm. And anyways, that defending that cave and then being successful and fending off the raiders, that was the best, like most adrenaline, like when I remember turning off the console that night, just going, fuck, that was fuck yeah, dude. We just
it was fun.
Pull up.
I think part of that is like I feel like you had maybe in the year leading up to that like acquired those skills to know what to do, and I was really just still in the stage where I was kind of just building things and dinos and hadn't had a lot of PvP, and like I say, I learned a ton from what to do. I never knew that the other folks were going to build a raid base that actually had a generator and some turrets of its own, and that just seemed it took so long for us to get to the point where we had a generator. It just blew my mind that somebody would have one, just to bring along and set up somewhere, for a raid. And
a fob.
That
they
like
call
forward
them
operating
fobs.
base. So I agree, wholeheartedly. That was one of the funner moments. I do think like when we got offline raided afterwards, right? Like once we left, they eventually made their ways in there.
That's right. We did. We fended them off, and we eventually called it a night or whatever, And then the next day we woke up and they came back.
Yeah,
that's ARC.
Yeah, I agree because. It's almost like when I mentioned like one of my favorite moments, like kind of becoming more of an asset than a liability. It's actually like I think I got fairly lucky in that first like engagement, because some ones after that went way worse for me. I think.
I think I have a just continuing on this arc rant. I think there was also a time where you were getting where the base started getting attacked, but you were the only one online.
Yeah, and I definitely made some weird decisions in that process.
I remember that one, but was there a time when you were online and I got on with you? Or no, it was just that one. It was just that one in the tunnel.
There definitely there was a time there on Vogero where we, I think maybe I was kind of doing it myself, and then you and Mickey both got on, and we got up in those trees with those platforms and set up those tech turrets and shut that shit down. Like, those guys were. But it's like I think your Giga fell off the cliff, and I went and got it for you, and just didn't really think to go put it up. And later on, I lost. I died out in front of those folks and lost it anyway. So, I think we were really trying to save our genetics, like where we had raised those things. And it took me a while to realize like what is valuable and what do you really not want to lose? And
Isn't that nuts, dude?
Yeah.
Arc is so complex, man. Like, just there's such there's meta decisions that are so impactful within the game that like you don't even realize it until you've become like a seasoned player, you know?
Oh, true. And the gravity of those things, like, it's just like we played Warzone a minute ago, and I mean, I can't like think of this specific example, but I'm sure I made some mistakes. But it's kind of like, oh well, crap. Let's load back in. But on there, it's like, I mean, it's super uncomfortable. It's like you get on and you're like, well, where's our? It's everything's gone. Like I think there was that one instance where. Like I wasn't at the base, even though I was online. Everybody was thinking, John's online, so we won't get offline rated. And like,
I remember that.
I had gotten this thing that I'd tamed a Lepleurodon, and I was getting these boosted drops, and it lasts for like 6 hours. So I was just flying around getting these badass blueprints and shit, and I just couldn't leave it. And like when everybody gets on, and they're like, "What the fuck happened here?" And like. No one ever said like, why did you, but just the mood, it's not like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just,
there's like an awkward silence. Like, no. And dude, I know what you're talking about. And it's like, it's not a directed mood. It's a community mood of, dang, we lost our stuff. It's not like, we lost our stuff and it's your fault.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's just
no.
And I'm saying that kind of like just to say it in general for anyone that like plays Ark and can recognize and can relate with us, or anyone that goes to play Ark in the future can be prepared for these like impactful moments.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying it to you in a way like it wasn't like like I hope you never felt like we were like
no,
it's just like it's like, oh man, we lost that. It's gone.
And especially to you guys.
But I've also I don't mean to interrupt, but I've also been in your position, dude, where I felt like we lost it and it's my fault.
Yeah.
Like feeling like everyone's just judging me right now, and like, nah, man, don't feel that way. Like for the next time or whatever. It's just when you lose everything in the game. You lose everything, man. It's just like it, and it's so detrimental, especially if, especially if what? I mean, how many examples do we have?
At times too, like
especially with breeding.
I don't know if you've ever experienced this with your dad, but like there were times like my dad would be disappointed in me about something that would have been easier that if he'd just give me a whipping or something like that disappointment, like in me just, it's like I said, I think I never heard anyone say like, this is your fault or anything like that. But, that personal responsibility type feeling and imagine like how this could be just the opposite. You could be like, oh my God, like how did you, look, I see where you killed like, a 103 level, it's like, damn, that's awesome, dude. Like, or like, maybe if I just had done anything different, so those like that is so unique to that game. Like, I mean, it is never. This is not going to happen in Warzone. I mean, there's times we're disappointed, like, damn, we almost won that one, but that lasts for seconds, dude. That situation, it's like we've been building up that base and now it's all gone. And it comes in waves. Like it takes you a while to even realize what all you've lost. Like, you'll kind of be bopping along and you're like, oh yeah, fuck, that was in there.
Oh, they'll be like, oh, they took all of our Mastercraft and Ascendant armor blueprints. Oh, dang, we lost. Dang, that sucks. Yeah. And then you'll go and look in the fridge and they'll be like, oh my God, they took all of our like super
kibble.
Mutated Giga eggs and kibble. Like you're just like,
yeah. And whereas, it might be Saturday morning and like we would have spent all weekend playing this game, like that's over. Like I think I was like, I was,
right, dude,
I was so
right.
new
I never
to
thought
it.
About that.
Yeah, I was so new to it. I would jump right back on.
My weekend's shot.
Yeah. And, I think you and Mickey were a little more, used to it. And so you guys would, maybe take a week off or whatever. I would jump right back into it, and have to do it alone for days.
That's what I remember telling you, like, it's got its claws in you, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, it's one of the reasons both of us are mentioning it on our list of things. It's because those consequences are so high. Like when you have that good experience, like we had in that tunnel, like, it matters, you know. I mean, those were some good
dude.
players we were against. I you know, I don't think they were, you know, just casuals or whatever.
No, they were full bore. I mean, they had a fob outside. They were, you know, considering, you know, we were in a cave. That's a unique type of engagement. You know, it's not like being up on a flat or on a hill or in a valley like in Ark. You know, we were in a cave, which was also a disadvantage in a way for us because of the increase in damage percentage. When you build in a cave, you assume additional risk because of the inherent inherent protections that a cave will give you. Like there's only one entrance point. It's like, all right, you'll get to defend that one entrance point, cave dweller, but you're going to be subject to the increase in the damage percentage.
It's a balancing of sort. Yeah.
But we won that engagement.
Fuck yeah,
and I don't feel bad that they came and raided us after because, you know, they offlined us. Like, hell with them. We won that, even though ultimately they came and, you know, completely foundation wiped us.
They did. They did it. But we got their like metal base. I think like they had like an outpost where they were mining, and we found that, but we never found their actual base. I don't think. But yeah, damn, that was a fun moment. Like I feel like we're close to starting like a new run in Ark. Like we've kind of been away from it for a while, you know, and I look forward to doing that again, maybe sometime soon.
I got it downloading right now.
For your PS4 or on your computer? Yeah.
I can't run it on my laptop, man. It's just not.
I don't think you're alone on that.
Yeah,
what else? Like what else outside of Ark?
So my second best experience of the year for Ovox. Man, I was thinking about that this whole time that we were talking about Ark, just trying to think like what, because I want to be specific. But I'd have to say it would be one of the, and I don't remember the exact one, but I remember where you, Pepe Tortilla, and myself had an amazing Warzone win. Where everyone was just like a freaking well-oiled machine, executing, downing, thirsting, and just boom, blue ribbon across the screen. You know, all of us had well over like, I don't remember exactly, so I'm just going to go with a lowball number and say 5. We all had well over 5 kills. And this was on Rebirth Island, Resurgence. So, you know, it's a much faster pace than the standard Battle Royale, as all of our fellow Warzone players know. But, yeah, it was just, there were a couple. You know, there was plenty, but I remember there was one where we all did really well and just got a really good win in Warzone on Rebirth Resurgence, and I remember that.
Yeah, you're faster open up into that helicopter, like, and getting that in. I thought when you first started talking, there was this one where you had a heavy machine gun. I want to say the RPK, and Pepe Tortilla and I had both already gone down, and you were left by yourself.
I had the PKM.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that PKM slaps. Watch out.
It was like watching a movie. I mean, it was like Pepe and Tortilla and I both were watching. Get down. And I will say, listeners, like Ovox gets serious as shit. He's like if you're like talking, he's like comms. Like he's it's like trying to breathe over here, and so not only are Pepe, Tortilla, and I watching, like we're having to be quiet and watch too, you know. But at the same time, you know, it's like occasionally you might ask us to mark something, or you know, there's some ways that you can contribute as somebody who's out. Yeah, but he gets serious as shit.
He laughs so hard.
It's so true. But it was so much like a movie because I think you had like an SMG and you took care of a couple people and you switched over to that PKM and started shooting this helicopter, and like it was just so, you know, and it's like you were having to run from the smoke and you would get to this next spot. Like it was great. You know, it.
Oh, dude,
it was good
I appreciate that, man. It makes me feel like I'm a half decent Warzone player.
Yeah.
Well, we all did because we won, but we got lucky that helicopter happened to contain the last team. Yeah. So in the PKM, when you mod it right, it has a 200 round clip or 200 round box magazine type of thing, you know. So I just remember pulling that thing out, aiming at the freaking helicopter, and just the clip hasn't run out yet, and then it just went down and we won.
Hell yeah! But you think about it, like they've kind of got the angle on you at that point. I mean, unless you had the right gun, like if you started trying to shoot that thing with a Mac 10 or something, like you ain't going nowhere, like and yeah, those are good moments, and I agree with you.
You just mentioned something, man, and I think that's a good point. Like, if I hadn't had the PKM, if I hadn't had that weapon with the 200 round mag thing, it may have gone a very different way.
Oh, dude,
because they probably would have just like hunted me with the helicopter.
That's why I mentioned it, because it was almost like where you were at, like you had to rotate towards them, like at first, and that wasn't even the last people, like they kind of had the spot on you, and like all you had to do all that perfect, and then switched guns and kind of just worked a whole different mode, and we were all like, damn, like, and I think it adds to it too, like that you've got us spectating, as much as you don't want to,
the
like,
pressure's on, dude.
Comms,
it's like the last, like a penalty kick in the last game today at, France and Argentina. Dude, not to deviate, but the EA Sports predictor is predicting, man.
It's dead on again, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you think Argentina's going to win?
I haven't.
Say it now. Like, everyone's listening.
I'm for Argentina, and yes, I do.
You're for Argentina?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Don't come back to Mexico, cabrón.
What? Like, why would you be for France?
Quédate allá, güey.
Dude, like France, like people in France, like I've always heard they don't like Americans, so like I think.
No, I'm just channeling Mexico's sentiment. If you look on Facebook down here, everybody's rooting for France, man.
Oh yeah, so it's like the king of the Latinas, I think, like kind of thing. Yeah, I could see that.
Mexico's what they would say in Spanish, ardido, which is just kind of like, fuck, I forgot to say that in English. It's just kind of when you're like butthurt.
Yeah, it's the way it feels. I kind of quit watching once the U.S. got out. Like I've probably watched one more game, but I probably will watch that final. Was it today? Is it today? Like 2 o'clock?
No, it's tomorrow. I think you're right. I think it might be tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll definitely watch that. And I've still been playing FIFA on that. Like there's tons of people on there, more than usual right now.
Of course.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying that. That's fun as shit, dude. Like still fun to me every day.
What were we talking about? We were talking about
best moments of the year.
Best moments. Warzone. Yeah. That was the second.
Yeah, the Warzone.
I don't know if I have a third, man. I don't know if I have a third. I've been in. Gosh, what would be a third? See, if it's not coming up to me naturally, then I don't have one.
Yeah, you don't have to force it.
I'm not going to force it, right?
No, and yeah, I think that
I've been enjoying the crap out of Ghost of Tsushima. I've been enjoying. I've been playing the Uncharted games because I'd never played them before. They've been fun. All they're all remastered. I got that one that comes with the first 3 Uncharted all in one. That's like a bundle. I got the 4th one as well. I'm gonna play all those. Like I mentioned a second ago, Chuck, I'm re-downloading Ark.
Fuck yeah, I'm excited for that.
Ooh, I can see it. I can see it in your left eyebrow.
Well, let's did you ever have a friend when you were young that had it all, like had all the goods, like the what I'm painting a picture of is that let's say that person
when Santa Claus always pulls through for your friend.
Yeah. Well, so if we were going to get something for, let's just say that difficult to shop for, has it all already, type gamer in our lives, like what if that person was in our lives, like what would we get them? Like things that come to mind. Like I see a lot of they're like collectibles. Like you can get like a full size Master Chief helmet, like from Halo. Like I'm picturing like a big like cardboard size cutout of themselves or something. Oh wait, I know.
Well, where does this come from?
Just
Curious. Like
yeah,
you're saying, all right, but you're kind of referring to like, what do you get a gamer that has everything a gamer needs?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and preferably.
God, that's a hard one, man.
Like feel free to go humorous with it.
Yeah. I'd get him a beanbag.
Dude, beanbags have come a long way. Have you saw those giant new ones?
Yeah, but nobody really. I mean, at least I don't think so. Like, I don't think beanbags are like as in as they used to be. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you could get someone a beanbag and it'd still catch them off guard, even if they've had, like, oh damn, wait a minute,
beanbag.
You know what? Bring that in. Yeah, put it right here. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. Like, sorry, I'm throwing my cables around here. We don't need like no fancy like level 50 beanbag, or whatever you were talking about. I'm sure they have come a long way. Yeah. But just like a good old fashioned beanbag, like a '90s beanbag, it's kind of shiny. Yeah. It might only last you like a month before it blows up and creates a mess. But just like some beanbags, You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
Like some MTV beanbag type. You know?
No, that's a great answer, I think.
I don't know. I might get him a box of Capri Sun.
Kool-Aid Jammers, Capri Suns.
like, have fun, man. Knock yourself out.
Yeah, suck on these.
What else are you going to get him, man?
Oh, excuse me. I'm about to go. No worries. I think, I do see this thing that's like, you can get a cardboard size cutout, is something that comes to mind. But I wonder if a man had enough money, if you could get like, I see some streamers that they have their own skin in Warzone. Like, wonder if that would be, imagine that as a gift. Goes like, hey, Ovox, like log into your Warzone too. And like you get in there and it's perfectly you. I'm trying to think of the streamer that I see that has that. Sally is a dog. He has that, dude. He has his
in
own
Warzone.
He's obviously in with the folks at Activision somehow, or like maybe used to work there. So yeah, he has his own skin. It's him. I mean, it's him to a T.
Man, I didn't know that. I mean, I've seen that kind of in a way on Rust, where they've incorporated like skins and weapon skins, et cetera, for some of the YouTubers out there and streamers that are most popular around Rust, like Blueprint, I think his name is, or Blueprint. There's a few others that they're not coming to my mind right now, but I've seen stuff like that. But man, yeah, that would be one hell of a gift.
That would set me back, man. I would be super stoked to see that, especially if it was
Chuck
cool
T.
as shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, dude. Big old fucking joint coming out of your mouth. Just it looks like a cigar.
That would have to feel so good. Yeah.
Man, where were we?
Well, I kind of have a question I want to ask you. It is a little bit like a shift from gears of like what we want now. But I'm curious, like, as you were growing up as a kid, like is there one like specific like video game related type Christmas that you remember like coming down Christmas morning or something like that, and perhaps getting a new game or system or something that really kicked off Christmas that year?
I remember being, I don't want to say torn, because I wasn't torn, but I remember like having that Christmas expectation, like of running down the stairs and getting to the bottom and seeing that Santa left a bunch of gifts, tearing them open and finding, I don't remember if it was a Super Nintendo or a Sega, but I wanted either of those. And I remember getting a Sega Game Gear.
A handheld instead.
Which was a handheld. And I was like, this is not what I wanted, but it wasn't what I didn't want. You know what I mean? It was like halfway.
Oh, yeah. You can see how a non-gamer would assume. Like,
and man, in retrospect, looking back, I remember being like, bummed that I didn't get what I wanted exactly, but I kind of understand now because it was at that time we were really we were moving a lot. So it was kind of like it didn't make sense necessarily for me to have or at least maybe my parents didn't think it was logical for me to have a TV based system.
True.
Considering the amount of moving that we were doing. So they, and one Christmas I remember they got me a Game Boy, the portable version of a Nintendo. Right. I remember one year they got me a Game Gear, the portable version of a Sega.
I see.
And I remember in the moment being a little kid just going, "Damn you, Santa! Why?" And now that I'm older and I understand who Santa is, and I understand the dynamics of that time of our lives back then when we were moving a bunch, it didn't make sense. True. I mean, honestly, it could have made sense because I wasn't using. No, I don't want to say that. I mean, I enjoyed the heck out of the Game Gear and the Game Boy while traveling, and maybe at the moment I didn't realize the value, the convenience, or the pleasure I was getting out of it, being able to play video games while traveling, True. Which was driving, mostly for us. It was driving, so, and, when you have a Nintendo or a Sega Genesis home console, you can't play it if you're not on a TV.
No, not unless
so,
you're an RV
and
or
back
something.
then, we're talking mid 90s, a little bit of the early 90s, mid 90s, that whole range. So yeah, those were my video game Christmases. It was one of them revolved around the Game Boy, and one of them revolved around the Sega Game Gear. And in both cases, I wanted to get the regular, I want to get the regular Nintendo, or I want to get the regular Sega. But I'd get the handheld versions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually never did have that specific, you open it up and it's exactly the console you wanted. You know, and I never experienced that, man. What about you?
I feel like right around the time of, say, the regular Nintendo, the NES, I got that for Christmas one year for sure. And one of my distinct memories of that situation is that was the one time of year that I could convince my parents to play a round or two of whatever I was playing. I remember playing Kung Fu kind of distinctly, and just seeing my mom and my dad have to do that, and I've noticed about them with electronics, even up until my dad passed, and when I would still be trying to show him how to, text message or something, he had this attitude as if he was going to, if he hit the wrong button, it was going to explode somehow or something, So, so he was real cautious about doing something. And my mom's really similar. And just being, it was kind of like a, did you get your game set up? And I'm like, yeah, you want to play? And most other days, the rest of the year after that, they'd be like, I don't do good at that, and just kind of blow me off or whatever. But Christmas, you could make them do it, and I remember that, kind of being sharing my world with them a little bit, and
Did you have to go through the stockings before you'd get into the main gifts?
I can't say we never did the stocking thing, but it was rare. So no, and to be honest with you, if you really say, they're around not Christmas Eve, but the 23rd, if you could just, be huffing and puffing and saying you were bored as shit, you could almost lobby my parents into opening one gift. They would be under the tree, and, you're just you're out of school and you got plenty of time, and, we've got all these plans on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day to go visit our grandmas and have dinners and stuff that really weren't, super exciting for me. And so I would lobby to, could open one gift and you knew which one was video game related. Like
you were looking for the big square.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little heavy, not too heavy.
Yeah. And you go for that. And yeah, I have to say my parents went to great pains to ensure that I had a great Christmas, and there were a lot of Star Wars action figures involved in those things, and you know, and I typically like tried to return that favor. I would try to, you know, use the crap out of whatever they got me, you know, that I'd asked for, even if it didn't turn out exactly like I'd hoped, you know, like the box had like of a video game, you know, how we've talked about that, like that's all we had to base on. You know, you're looking at the Sears wish book or whatever, or JCPenney wish book, and you kind of had this picture. You had to, you know, it's like, well, shit, Mega Man looks pretty damn cool. You know, and then you get it, and it's like, not exactly that.
There's something to that. There's something to be said about that. Like, just, you know, learning about games back then versus learning about them now, and the emotion behind getting a game. Yeah. Then versus now. Like there was a lot of, you know, I remember I'd go over and stay the night at a friend's house or something as a little kid and be like, and I'd see that they'd have like, you know, the Street Fighter or the Mega Man, as you said, or they'd have the latest Donkey Kong, you know, or Donkey Kong 2, or, you know, they'd have the Super Nintendo with, you know, I'd see these games via my friends and what they had. Depending on where I was in the world, you know, like where I was, you know, when the younger I was, the more we were in the U.S. And I remember I had a few friends there during like the first years of elementary that I'd go stay with, and this would have been early '90s. So the Super Nintendo was out, the Sega Genesis was out, and those were kind of like the newest. I think the Nintendo 64 wasn't quite out yet. And I'd see what they were playing, and I'd be like, "Man, I want that," you know.
Fuck yeah.
And that's like where the emotion would start building up for the next Christmas season. Mm-hmm. And that's all I would have. That's, you know, you can't go onto YouTube and be like, game with little dude that shoots lasers out of his X-Men, or not X-Men. Mega Man rather. Yeah. Mega Man. Oh, and then you start learning about Mega Man, and you can go on to Amazon, and you can like, hey, I'm gonna order Mega Man on you. None of that was even remotely even conceived of yet. Like all you could do is maybe go into town and like find a Nintendo Power magazine, you know, or hopefully like wait for the weekend and during the Saturday cartoons commercials, see what video games were being promoted. Like getting information on these things was limited, so you'd get a little bit of intel, or you'd see a friend playing so-and-so game and you'd ask them which one it is, and you'd get the name, you'd write it down on a note with a pencil or a crayon, you know, whatever you got in your back jean pocket. And then you just get back and Mom, Dad, you know, Santa,
here you
please,
go.
please, I want the Super Nintendo, or I want, you know. And then with this game or that game, and it was even with the Nintendo 64, it was the same.
Absolutely.
Even with the Nintendo 64, it was the same. You know, internet wasn't really a thing. It wasn't a thing. You know, same deal.
You know, I think something that was going on that I don't know that really registered to me, but I noticed over the years, like November, like early November is kind of a release time. If there's going to be a new console coming out or a new game, they're going to want to catch that Christmas season, like kind of like when we did our Atari episode and you know, talked about how some of those Warner Brothers CEOs kind of, you know, made some money based decisions about, you know, getting the certain games out around Christmas and things like that. I don't know that completely, because of the reasons you're stating, like the lack of media, you know, surrounding it, you just didn't really maybe put two and two together there. But, you know, I notice it now. Like it does seem like November's kind of a time to release things and you know, especially catch the Christmas season, you know, even if it's not November, October, you know, that end of year, you know, kind of thing. So, yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And you know, I think like it was kind of a win-win for our parents too, because it sure got me out of their hair. Like I was fully occupied, you know, it was a little harder to play outside in the wintertime like that. And, boy, that's great timing. And I could see how, like, maybe your parents, going up and down the peninsula, they're like driving, like it probably was a win-win too, that, you had that Game Boy back there to, kind of occupy yourself.
Yeah, dude. I didn't realize, like, until, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't thinking about that until just now. Like, oh, they probably, like, proactively, like, conscientiously decided to not get me this TV version of these Nintendo devices or gaming devices that they were aware of. As parents from another generation, they were like, God, they, Ovox, or, they'd call me by my name, obviously, wants one of these confounded gaming things.
Yeah.
Let's get him the one that he can use while we're driving thousands of miles. And for me, that was just like, no, I don't want that thing. I want this thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely understandable, and I think something that's kind of lost on us too. We're used to technology being shrunk down and stuff, but in the beginning, like the first handheld games like that, it was kind of a big deal. Like it wasn't.
They're big.
Well, and also like the games that like that other handhelds that existed, it was kind of just one game or something. It wasn't like a system like that. So
you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah. Like, in fact, not to go off on a not to sidetrack, but there was a time there where everyone was trying to jump on the handheld gaming train.
Mm-hmm.
Right around there when the Game Boy had come out, and then the Game Boy Color, the Sega Game Gear. I remember there were a bunch of handheld. There's a particular brand too. I think it started with the letter N. I don't remember now, but is it? I don't remember, but they'd be handheld games with only one game on them.
Yeah.
And there was one brand that was particularly like successful.
I'm trying to
I don't remember
what
that.
was. Yeah.
Let me bring it up real quick. Let me see if I can find it.
I know, like probably even leading up to that, something my Generation X kind of thinks of is like Mattel would make these handheld games like football, and
I think it was Mattel.
Yeah, and they would just literally be a little blip on the screen. I mean, you had to use a ton of imagination to get a football game out of it, and it had just really rough sounds and graphics. But it was handheld and very similar to the size of like a Game Boy or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to find the name of that company that made these. There was a really popular company out there back in the day that had these single game handhelds that were super popular. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, just to kind of wrap that topic up, one of the things I remember of getting that new system is like what soon followed. I probably got mom and dad to play a couple times. And after that, it was a marathon gaming session till the dawn. So
yeah.
I was going to play that thing till my fingers bled and until someone made me go to bed. And usually they didn't on Christmas, like you could get away with a lot right there.
Oh, man, there's just food and pie and stuff to eat and just game all night. Man, those are the good times.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where are we at here with time, Chuck? All right. We're coming up on, we're approaching 2 hours.
Yeah. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but I'll be honest, like again, to wrap kind of that part of our discussion up, I carried this shit into my adulthood too, like way into my adulthood. I can remember being with my parents somewhere like in my 30s, and it was kind of Christmas time, and as I got older, we kind of just agreed like maybe we'll just all go eat and stuff. These gifts weren't as much, and we happened to be looking for like a refrigerator or something at Best Buy, and I remember asking my dad if I could go get a video game, and he was what little boy? He was kind of joking, like making fun of me for being a kid, and he was like, "You're serious, aren't you?" I was like, "Damn right I am." I think I went and got like Madden 2012 or some shit, I just knew he wouldn't say no, and it was probably $60, and that was probably
that's funny. Yeah, totally.
And he didn't, and I went and got that thing, and it felt good,
Yeah, those Madden games. They've been going for a while too. Are they still going, or did they also like call it quits like
they're
FIFA?
Still going. John Madden passed away a few years ago, but I think we still call it Madden. But yeah, there's new players every year, so they have to make a new one every year to kind of, get in on that. I want to say they brought back college football this year, which they had done away with since maybe 2014 or so.
Yeah.
A lot of people like that because the players do change there as well. Like when you update it, it'll show this year's players and things like that. But I guess one thing I'd like to like we kind of talked about like our favorite moments of the year. Like what's a disappointment for you? Like as far as 2022.
2022 gaming disappointments. I don't have too many. One thing that comes to mind, not to go back to Ark, but I was disappointed to hear that the developers of Ark may be kind of like changing the DNA of the game to make it third person and to make it kind of like a Dark Souls style of game. That was a disappointment. I really hope they do not do that.
That was going to be mine. I was going to base it more around like that. I think when we started the year, we were expecting... Was it June 2022 or was it Ford or that like there was something we were expecting it to be like I want to say the first I'd heard like Ark 2 was supposed to come out this year and pretty early on we heard it was pushed to 2023 and yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment I felt and
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, I think
I don't think there's been a proper release date for Ark yet. Ark 2, sorry. Ark 2. Yeah,
definitely hearing like some kind of surrounding that, and I think I don't remember a ton of disappointments either. I know. Yeah, there was a tad bit of a disappointment with the FIFA, kind of changing hands there the way it has, but I'm also kind of excited to see what comes next with that, like we talked about in our last episode, and yeah, I don't remember too awful many. Yeah, that's it, really.
That's it.
Yeah, it's been a good year. I mean, if we think about that, for sure. It's an exciting time to be a gamer. I kind of feel like, I don't know crap about what in the hell the metaverse is or Web3 and things like that, but I'm seeing things that I feel like the future is possibly going to hold that gamers are going to have a leg up on. And I'm kind of excited to see where that goes.
Me too, man. I'm excited to see where gaming goes. I'm excited to see where VR goes. See it get a little bit more developed and, I guess just developed and get out there so that because just like any new tech or any new system or platform, they come out, they're very expensive, not necessarily accessible for all of the regular humans. But the more the tech advances and stuff, prices start to drop. They get better, more reliable. So I'm excited for VR to advance more, to become more available, more accessible, more developed. I'm excited to see how the PlayStation 5 continues to develop and the games that come out on there, even though I don't have one yet. I'm excited for the games that are releasing. There's a lot of really cool open world games coming out that I'm excited about.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot to be excited about as a gamer, just like you said.
Yeah. I feel like with VR, like we need, I know when I was looking, even when I was building my previous computer, that I was mentioning that I want to kind of get a new GPU for now. The term was VR ready. Like you would look at new computers and it would say VR ready. And I remember really thinking I was about to get into that. And I just really haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I know that game. I saw somebody playing that game that we tried a little bit there called Super Hot in VR the other day. And it looked a lot of fun in VR. But you remember that game?
I do. I don't think there's a VR version.
I saw a guy doing it. Like he was he was using his fist to kind of as a weapon as well. Like if you hold both your fists out, it kind of shoots like a lightning bolt out of it.
Interesting. No, I'll have to check that out.
one of the reasons I kind of revisit this VR topic is I saw somebody post the other day, like, we've got to start protecting like these boomers that people put on VR, because there are tons of videos on YouTube and places of people just beating TVs and falling it.
I've seen them, dude. I've seen some of them. Yeah,
dude,
I've seen
it's
some.
horrible. It's so dangerous. Like it's like the one I'm thinking of especially. There was a guy, he was on top of the skyscraper and he had walked out on this plank and he just all at once jumped into the TV. And it tore the TV up. It looked like it hurt him. Like, yeah.
That's funny.
Like, we need tethers for people on VR somehow. Because it looks dangerous as shit. I know I was talking to my buddy, one of my friends spent the night and helped me do some work here at the house, and he has a son, and he said that, like, he got an Oculus and it caused him to have to clean his room, like, for the first time in ever. Like, he said, I haven't seen the floor in my son's room in years, and he said when he got that VR, he had to because he was
just have the room.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man.
Yeah, that'll be a game changer when we get into those things. But
yeah. Well, let's wrap this one up, huh?
Let's do
it. Is there anything else you wanted to bust out? Is there anything we're forgetting?
Let me double check my notes here. I think, just making sure Santa heard me about those gifts. Casey's listening to our podcast right now.
Chuck, I hope you get all of Santa's gifts, and I hope everyone out there listening gets the gifts that they've wrote in Santa for. Hope everyone out there's been nice and not naughty. Mm-hmm. Rather than naughty and not nice, or however that goes.
That's right.
Or both, whatever floats your panga. Whatever floats your boat.
Just remember, when you're getting ready to get down to business, take your sweatshirt off and your hat, like folks. even a hardcore gaming session, you might want to.
Take your hat off.
Disrobe, yeah.
Yeah. Really? No, I don't know about that.
Just
you're getting excited.
Just a little bit.
Let me turn the camera off first.
That's right.
I hope everyone out there has a great holiday season, a very Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year. Hopefully Santa brings you everything that you're looking forward to. And we really hope you enjoyed this episode. We kind of just got it going on the fly. Didn't really have an outline in place like we usually do. The holidays have been hitting us with some holiday action too, so we've been a little bit MIA. So we really just had to wing it on this one, didn't we, Chuck?
That's right. Not our first podcast, brother. We got this down.
But it is the best one ever that we do.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
out of all of them,
we take the most serious.
The only one.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. Before we, do you have anything left? Anything else, Chuck?
No, I think that's it. I definitely want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and if we don't see you again before the end of the year, we'll definitely be seeing you in 2023, and excited to see where we can take this thing and that.
Oh yeah, we'll be getting much more out. Many, many, many more episodes to come. Maybe one on December 31st, New Year's Eve. Maybe not. We'll see. We're gonna see how that pans out. Merry Christmas, everyone. If you enjoy our content, sincerely, we would be super, super appreciative and super grateful for any love you can show us on your favorite podcast app, wherever you happen to listen to us on, whether it's leaving a rating or a review or a comments on our YouTube page, Facebook, anything. It really helps us out, especially the reviews and ratings on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. However you can show us support there. Am I right, Chuck? We would very much appreciate it, because it really does help us get out there. It gets us to more listeners. And it just, we're doing this the good old-fashioned organic way. So we're really depending on you, the listeners. And we are sincerely very grateful for all of the listens, the shares, the likes, the ratings, the reviews, whatever you can throw our way.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you could put it on the wall at a bathroom or something. Like, you're sitting
Like at a rest stop.
yeah,
Yeah,
you got your sweatshirt and hat hanging on the hook there.
And a Sharpie right there. NWG 100. Let's
dude.
go.
I
New
hate
wave
to say,
gaming,
as a
baby.
Forest Service employee, people have written on the wall with doo-doo more than I'd like to tell you that I've had to get off there. So, yeah, maybe not that. Like, use a Sharpie for sure.
Great way to end the podcast.
Yeah. Well, and
Happy
one point
holiday.
about that, too, is like if someone writes something with doo-doo, I'm going to read that because, like, obviously it meant something to them,
No. Yeah, you got to read it, but it is a shitty situation.
Yes, for sure. For all parties.
All right, everyone. Gosh, Chuck, I love you, man.
Love you too, brother. It's been fun.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone. And just don't forget to take off your sweatshirt and your hat.
That's right.
Over and out.
All right. Love you guys. Peace.